Hey class, Professor Fernandez here. I survived the surgery. Yay, I'm back. Um, and thank you for your well wishes and prayers. A lot of you sent me emails. I appreciate those. I just wanted to go over, I know I'm a little late on the introduction for this module, but I just wanted to go over what I've done here for Module 6. Uh, First of all, before I go any further, Module 5 was an odd one because of the ice storm. It just got kind of expanded to 2 weeks, right? Regarding the primary source analysis on a slave letter to his former master, a great job on that. Everyone did really, really well. It was easy to kind of get into it, right? Regarding this letter from a slave to his former master and to kind of telling him, I'm better than you. Everyone did well. I did have a few students that still did not pick the right document, which tells me you did not use the book, because the book had the correct document, which was Gatewood and Bib were the names of the slave and the slave owner. So I had some people that put a different name and a different slave owner name, which tells me you looked it up online and it was not the right document. So I was not able to give you credit for that assignment. But all in all, majority of students did a great job. A lot of hundreds or 95s on that assessment. So good job. I appreciate it. Now, this last module, Module 6, I want to talk about, and I have it up here, because let me move me here. Okay, it's just like the other modules. It's going to be talking about a house divided, meaning the country is starting to come apart or divide. And we're going to actually go into the Civil War, the secession of the South. So part A, you have your required readings. You have this packet, a PDF packet, and I'll just click on it real quick. Remember, these are primary sources. This is not a primary source. This is just a description of the time period. But we have Tom Defies Simon Legree. This is an excerpt from Uncle Tom's Cabin, the Harry Beecher Stowe, which I talked about in one of your video lectures. You also have how the South scorns the author, Mrs. Stowe, of Uncle Tom's Cabin. The South thinks that she's treating the South unfairly. So that's a good document. We talk about the pro-Southern Court Speaks. That's another great document. And a Virginia newspaper gloats. So a lot of documents. These are primary sources, and I'll give you a hint that you're going to be using for your Flipgrid analysis. These are primary sources. Okay, so let me go back. There we go. House divided. You have a reading quiz off of these documents that were assigned. You have my video lecture, just like usual. You click on that and there's the lecture of the country starting to come apart, right? Part B, you have readings from the book, pages 298 to 300. Those are secondary sources for the most part. So page 298, I'll pull that up real quick here, to 300. It's two secondary sources. And there's a couple of primary sources also. I apologize. There's a couple of primary sources, but actually, I take that back. 298 to 300 are primary sources. They are primary sources. One is the impending crisis, and the other one is the Cotton Kingdom. And they're primary sources regarding the South and it being a cotton kingdom. Is it really ready for war? In addition to the impending crisis. So these are primary sources also. Although these are going to be answered in quiz B, right? Just like usual. These are under B. So you got to read the primary sources in the book. And then I have Lincoln's inaugural address. So after he wins the first presidential election, all presidents give an inauguration speech, and this is his address, his speech. You have two video lectures from me, the South seceding, actually leaving the Union, and an uncivil war, more of the details regarding the Civil War. You have a primary source analysis, and this is off of the speech that you read, Lincoln's first inaugural address right here. So that's going to be your primary source analysis, due March 2nd. And then your weekly Flipgrid analysis, the big one, right? That'll be on why the South left. This module focuses on the South secession and reasons for it. And so in this this module, and I'll read the question. Was the election of Abraham Lincoln the most important excuse for the South's eventual secession from the Union, and why? So is that the most important reason why the South seceded? Now, I expect people to have two different answers, right? Either yes or no. And I can see it both ways, because you're going to have documents, primary source documents, talking about how the South feels like they're being treated badly by the North, how they're looked upon badly. And you could argue, yeah, they were going to leave no matter who was elected. Even if Lincoln had lost, they were going to leave. Or you could have arguments, yeah, Lincoln being elected was the final straw, and that's the reason the South left. If he had lost, the South would still stay. I can see both interpretations, but you got to back those up, answer first of all, and then back those up with giving me sources from two primary sources that were assigned for the module. And then just like usual, I need you to comment to a fellow student. Just don't tell me, don't just tell them, hey, I liked your post, or no, I didn't like your post. I want you to say their name, tell me the quote that they used and where they got the quote from, or quotes that they used. I'm going to add, instead of 3 minutes, I'll give you 5 minutes. It still may take you 3 or less, but I'm going to give 5 minutes because I don't want you to rush. This is important. I want you to think about this, and I want you to take your time and not feel that you're so rushed, because this one, you're going to have to do some analysis on it. So you'll get up to 5 minutes. You don't have to use the full 5 minutes, but you'll have up to 5 minutes for this week's analysis post. Let's go back to the modules real quick before I end this intro. At the end of this module, when you finish on Thursday by noon, replying to a fellow student, although it's due, yours is due by Wednesday at 11:59, just like usual. It's spring break for you. I know it's weird with the having being off a week, but it was nasty, right? You'll be off for spring break. And then when you come back from spring break, we've pretty much covered the entirety of what I want to cover event-wise. So that last week, you can focus on your final post, which is your final project. And I will post what I'm looking for. It'll be a Flipgrid analysis, and it'll be a combination. I'm going to give you a link to a movie. It'll be a Civil War movie. I'm not going to mention it now because I'll wait till I post it sometime during spring break. And you'll watch that movie. And then I'm going to ask you some questions for you to answer in your final post. And then I'm going to ask you to bring in maybe some things you've learned in this course in answering your analysis. Don't worry, I'll give you an outline or give you the questions I want answered in your post. So it's not a matter of you having to just kind of grasp at straws. I'll give you an outline of what I want you to mention or analyze about the movie that I've posted for that final project. And then I'll ask you some questions regarding what you've learned, especially towards the end of the semester, can kind of fit into your analysis. And that'll be it. And that'll be due that last week of class, I believe, once again, by Wednesday, 11:59, which, if I remember correctly, is March and I'm pulling up my calendar because I'm not that bright, March 17th. That last week of class, Wednesday, March 17th, you will not have to reply to a fellow student. This is a final, so you won't have to reply to a fellow student. You'll be able to see it on the Flipgrid website or on the Canvas, but you won't have to reply for any sort of grade. And that'll be it. And that'll be the end of the class. But before we get there, let's focus on Module 6. Do your readings. Make sure you do the last 2 reading quizzes available. Make sure you do the readings. Make sure you do that last primary source analysis this week and your final weekly Flipgrid post. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you before that last week.